Okay, folks, so I'm going to give this a try here to get some information out for FOAC. Monday and Tuesday, I spent the day in Harrisburg with my son, um, lobbying in the halls of the Capitol building against House Bills 1099, 1593, 1859, and 1866. They were for so-called machine gun conversion devices under the guise of attacking Glock switches, which ironically happen to include bump stocks, forced reset triggers, binary triggers, and trigger cranks. The 1859 bill, 1099 bill, these were ERPA red flag laws and the undetectable firearms, which are already illegal both at the state and the federal level. And then lastly was universal background checks. That was something we were unable to stop, but we were able to stop three out of the four. And I think it's important for people to understand what's happening here. This was not about a valid effort to pass gun control. The Democrats in leadership are an anti-gun group. They understand that these bills are not going to survive the Senate. It is all about putting political pressure and political theater to support Representative Frank Burns out in Cambria County. So anybody that knows, Frank Burns voted against constitutional carry during a procedural vote back in, I believe it was March, and caused a bit of a ruckus there in the House of Representatives, and then turned around, of course, and claims to be a pro 2A legislator by voting against the bill whenever it comes to final passage or third consideration. This is the gambit that we have right now in Harrisburg, is the Democrat leadership is trying to save that seat, but at the same time use gun control measures to attack other seats to remove the pro-gun leadership from the Republican side of the House. So this is the game that's being played. These bills were run specifically to bolster Frank Burns and his community after those attacks on his constitutional carry vote. Burns is all up and down on social media and everywhere else claiming how he's a pro 2A guy. But if you look at his procedural votes and the votes he's made over the last 3 years, he is assuring that gun control bills make it to the floor for a vote and then voting against them so that he can stick a feather in his hat. They legitimately think that the residents in Cambria County are dumb enough to believe that he's a pro-gun representative when these are the votes that he's making. So I believe his seat is based on that 2A vote. I think Cambria County, when they see his constituency that he is a fake 2A legislator, he doesn't actually stand for the Second Amendment, that they will oust him. And I think that scares Democrat leadership. So we spent the day fighting over those four bills, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. The last bill, 1866, the machine gun conversion devices, is also fake 2A Representative Mandy Steele likes to post. When that was defeated, that was on Wednesday. And again, it was by one vote, which they're going to tout was Frank Burns. And, the Republicans are going to tout some of their other representatives. But it's all political theater. These votes were all being done. There was originally sort of a moratorium on gun control votes for a while, as it could be damaging to both sides. But because of the situation Frank Burns is in with the attacks from not just us, but PA Gun Rights and GOA, they're on board with it as well. And I don't think it will be long before the NRA follows suit as Burns's cards get played out here. So that's what we're up against there in Harrisburg. That's what this was all about. The one bill that did make it to the Senate is the universal background checks bill, and that is dead already. It's been sent off to the Judiciary Committee in the Senate, which it will die there and not come out to the floor. So that's what we're up against. It's all political theater. It's all to get people's emotions raised up. And I think some of the pro-gun Republicans that spoke out against it in Harrisburg did an excellent job of standing up and pointing it out as political theater, pointing it out that these aren't votes that are actually out there to stop criminals or save lives. None of these bills are going to would have any impact if they were passed into law on stopping murderers, killers, or suicides or anything along that line. There are better options out there. Folks will say, well, red flag laws or ERPOs try to deal with some mental health issues. It should tell you a lot when the American Civil Liberties Union joins the gun community to oppose those types of bills. And I think what you're seeing is there are better ways out there. There are some voluntary programs, things like Hold Your Guns with Sarah Albrecht, and those types of initiatives that we're going to try to push some legislation out for that will help deal with some of the mental health crisis in the community. And otherwise, honestly, it's up to the courts to enforce what's already on the books if you're going to try to deal with the violent criminal element, particularly that we're seeing in Philadelphia and some of the more urban areas. I know Pittsburgh and some of the other towns are complaining about these so-called Glock switches, which again, are already illegal both at the state and federal level. So there's a lot going on there. Aside from that activity in Harrisburg, my vice president, Clint Macro, and I, we were able to make a trip over to Harrisburg the week prior to visit with Attorney General Dave Sunday. Had a very good conversation there about some things like preemption and state agencies trying to regulate firearms, which is unlawful as well. Preemption is obviously a misdemeanor offense for any municipality, city, or county government to try to enact its own gun laws via ordinance. And it is under 6109 M3. It is also illegal for any state agency to attempt to regulate firearms through its own rules and regulations. So brought that up with the Attorney General, had a very good conversation there, and we'll wait to see what fruit bears from that interaction. So trying to keep everybody up to date. We're going to post this on some new platforms. Again, if you have any questions, any concerns, you can email me. Go to www.2apa.org. That's 2apa.org. Go to the board of directors and officers, and you can find my email there and my cell phone number as well to reach out. So hope this gives everybody a clue on what happened over the past week, and we will see you next time.